The 10th episode of Season 2 of The Bad Batch, titled Retrieval, picks up where Episode 9 left off. Clone Force 99 is stranded on planet South Dakota after having their ship stolen, and Gonki is here to save the day. Omega realizes she can track their power droid to find the Havoc Marauder, an idea that Tech didn't even think of. Looking back at Episode 9, I think Tech is distracted because he misses Echo. We learn that the ship was stolen by a teenaged kid named Benny, who works for a thug named Mako. He has several young men and women under his control in an Ipsium mine. He keeps them competitive and hungry, and Benny hopes the theft of the Havoc Marauder will earn him some extra food and water. With Gonki tracked, the Batch find their droid and Benny as well. They coerce the kid into helping them recover their ship, and it's clear he has some Stockholm Syndrome, believing Mako to be a help to his world rather than a parasite. We learn that the thug was able to take control of the mine after the Techno Union was forced out, leaving a power vacuum. I imagine things were already rough under the Techno Union, so despite Mako lowering wages, he's probably able to get away with a lot in the eyes of Benny and the other miners. But of course, behind closed doors, he's gorging himself on hoarded food. I really enjoyed the entry into the facility. It was very Mission Impossible, with Hunter having a 60-second time window to make it down a large thermal stack before being incinerated, complete with a dropped item that he has to catch to avoid detection from a guard. And I'd like to point out that the show actually sticks to its 60-second time limit. Star Wars usually doesn't do that. Like in the trench run of A New Hope, Luke takes way longer than the times he supposedly has, and that's fine, I don't care, but I did like that this episode set up the stakes and stuck to them. The Marauder is found, but the exit to the docking bay is ray shielded, so Benny and Omega head to the central tower to shut them down. They stop by the mess hall on their way to steal an access card, and Mako enters to announce the top earner. A young man named Drake, who has apparently won many times before, wins yet again. His prize is a bowl of soup all to himself. Meanwhile, the rest of the kids have to fight over one bowl. I can't help but think back to the prison arc of Andor. There are a lot of similar elements in this episode. A facility with a central tower accessed by bridges, a competitive workforce hoping to win either food or flavor in their food, and of course a cruel overseer hiding the truth from those he controls. Tech even compares Mako and his operation to the Empire. I'm not complaining about the repetition. The Bad Batch has a very different audience than Andor. We're seeing the same themes and ideas, just remixed with different Star Wars ingredients. Benny and the other miners don't seem too bothered by their situation. They're all young, so I guess this is the only system they've ever known. That makes sense. People find comfort in what they know, even if what they know is completely broken, which is why he secretly betrays Omega and alerts Mako of intruders in the mine. But while he waits, he starts to realize that things could be different. He sees how the rest of the Batch treat Omega with respect, as part of a team instead of a worker to be controlled. They find some common ground, and Omega shares her food with him, which starts up Benny's guilty feelings. And then Omega finds proof of Mako's deception just in time to be captured by him. He threatens to drop her into the mine if the other clones don't surrender, but Benny finds his conscience and exposes Mako's lies. The other miners turn on him, and Omega is tossed over the side, but of course Hunter is ready to catch her, and I love that look of determination and trust she has. The Bad Batch are the polar opposite of someone like Mako, who considers those beneath him to be expendable. Omega is not expendable to Clone Force 99, which is actually a nice conclusion to some of her doubts and fears that she expressed in the previous episode. Meanwhile, even when Benny tries to save Mako, the thug is vindictive, attempting to pull the kid down along with him. Some people would rather die than lose what little power they had over others, but the rest of the miners come to Benny's aid, and together they are stronger than Mako. With the Havoc Marauder retrieved and repaired, the Batch prepare to leave. With Mako gone, all of the workers come together to share all of the food and profits from their labor. Omega realizes the Empire isn't the only threat in the galaxy. Its example of ruling inspires others to match them on smaller and smaller scales. Even though I prefer the series when the Batch is directly fighting the Empire, and even though I thought this episode was just fine, I do see the point stories like these are trying to make. The Empire might be the big bad, but its existence helps create a lot of smaller bads as well. Yet Tech points out the opposite can also be true. The existence of the Empire and factions like it can inspire people to help as well, and there are more people like Clone Force 99 in the galaxy than people like Mako. Or as Lando put it, there are more of us. So yeah, I thought the last 2 weeks worth of episodes were alright. Not bad, but not my favorite style of Bad Batch story. As we enter the final 6 episodes of the season, I hope our characters reach a tipping point where they get more on track with the battle against the Empire and the fight for the future of all clone troopers. And oh, episode 14 is called Tipping Point, so fingers crossed. But for now, let me know what you thought of Retrieval in the comments. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel to keep up with all our Bad Batch coverage, follow us on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, and consider checking out our Patreon page for video reactions and audio commentaries for every episode as well. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.